Hey, it's Kate 420. Happy New Year, everybody. This isn't a Happy New Year type video, but it seems to be the topic of the day. Everywhere I scrolled on the news today, I found this, and I thought, well, you know what? What the hell? I'll make what do you call that? A culmination of all of them. So, meet the first murders of 2018. First, this was in New Jersey. This was actually New Year's Eve. So, hang on, make sure this doesn't come on again because it tends to. All right. Shut this off. Hate that thing. It says authorities in New Jersey have detained a 16-year-old boy who stands accused of the brutal New Year's Eve slayings of his parents, a 70-year-old family friend, and his sister. Wow. The suspect's killer's name's not being released because of his age. Okay. It says the press.
That is his brother. He has a new brother.
Every fucking time. Anyway, a press release from the authorities alleged the quadruple homicide was committed with a semi-automatic rifle. Motive for the deaths have not been released by investigators. This is his sister, Brittany Kalgi. Here's his parents, Linda and Stephen. Here's a statement from the police.
Decker, we are in the unfortunate scenario we're in.
Maybe.
Investigating a quadruple homicide that occurred at about 11:43 p.m. yesterday.
No, I give up. I tried. Anyway, there's many more, don't you worry. This is New York Daily News. Woman fatally stabbed in Queens home. Abusive husband found hanging from tree in suspected murder-suicide. Just hours after the Queens couple rang in the new year, the wife became the city's first murder victim of 2018. Her abusive husband hanged himself from a tree in the city park. Stacy Singh, the 26-year-old mother of two small children, was stabbed repeatedly in the back and left face down in the couple's Richmond home, according to sources. A knife was found near her body when police arrived around 2 p.m. Her hard partying husband, Vinny Locknath, 46, committed suicide just after 11 a.m. in Forest Park, about 1.5 miles from the murder scene. He was found hanging from a tree. Locknath was very abusive to her, said the dead woman's brother-in-law, Romaine Shaw. She stayed with him no matter what because they had 2 kids together. She was hoping for him to change, but he never did. He's such a coward. According to Shaw, Locknath was drinking heavily and using cocaine when family members gathered at a New Year's Eve at a Queens restaurant. He was so drunk, so very drunk, he always beat her up when he went home high. Stacy Singh, here she is, found stabbed to death in her Queens home on Monday. A neighbor says the couple fought constantly, recalling one incident where the battered wife leaving their home in an ambulance. The cops are always there. They're always having a big fight, but she still came back to him. The couple had a 5-year-old son and 1-year-old daughter who are now parentless. She was a generous person. She loved her children, spent every penny on them. They were her world. The killing marked the second consecutive year that the city's first murder happened in Queens. This is the same murder. It just goes on to be more expletive about the man that they found, because at first they found her and then they found the husband. They discovered him hanging from a tree later on. Oops. The husband made an eerie call to a friend earlier that day saying, "I'm bad. I want to be cremated. Don't bury me." The concerned pair quickly called police, and officers were dispatched to her home for a wellness check, which is when they found the wife's body. It's very shocking for this to happen on New Year's Day. What a way to start the year. They're very quiet people. They don't bother anybody. Very nice. Nobody will tell you that. Now, that's the exact opposite, because look at this says nobody will ever tell you that they fight or argue. A woman whose friends identified as the victim's sister was spotted at the scene sobbing uncontrollably. It says she got stabbed. The distraught sibling shrieked. Neighbors told the Post the young woman was killed, had a baby recently, and also had a boy 5. I was so shaken when I heard about this. The first thing I asked is, are the kids okay? She was 19. There it is. No, hang on. In 2016, a 19-year-old woman was found in her bedroom in Queens, the victim of a vicious beatdown at the hands of her boyfriend. So, 2 years ago, the guy beat her. That's probably the time she went. Last year, a man in town for his grandmother's funeral became the city's first murder victim when he was shot during an attempted robbery. Okay. Next. Woman's death marks first murder of the year after shooting near Groveport, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. This is officers arrived, said the woman was suffering from a gunshot wound. Police were dispatched. Suffering from a parent. Okay, here it is. Investigators said 30-year-old Ashley Marie Newman, killed by her husband, 32-year-old Sean Newman, was pronounced dead at 12:14 a.m. New Year's Day after she was rushed to Graham Medical Center in critical condition. Mr. Newman fled the scene before they arrived, but was later found after a car accident on I-270 near Alum Creek Drive around 12:20. He was then charged with murder. Columbus police have called this the first homicide of 2018. Long Beach. A man was shot 30 minutes after the new year arrived and died in the early hours today in Long Beach. Officers dispatched about 12:30 to the area of 6th Street and Temple Avenue in response to an assault with a deadly weapon call. They found a man suffering a gunshot wound to the chest and lower body, said Nancy Pratt of Long Beach Police Department. Paramedics rushed the man to an area hospital where he later died from his wounds. A male suspect was reported to have fled the scene, but no other details are available. The investigation is ongoing. 2018 is off to a violent start. This is from the Huffington Post. David Lohr. Cycle of violence began anew Monday as millions of merrymakers around the country welcomed in 2018. But by no means do the below incidents make a comprehensive list of violent events that occurred Monday. However, they provide a sobering snapshot of lives cut short around the country in the first hours of the new year. Chicago's first known homicide of 2018 occurred around 2 a.m. Monday when a 51-year-old man was shot fatally driving in the Avondale neighborhood. He was reportedly found seated behind the wheel of a car that had crashed into a fence, and his identity has not yet been released. The shooting was one of at least 10 that occurred in the Windy City on New Year's Day, the Chicago Tribune reported. The other incidents, which were non-fatal, include 2 double shootings. Chicago police released statistics on Monday that show a 15.69% drop in murders in the city in 2017. Authorities said 650 people were murdered in 2017, down from 771 in 2016. Well, maybe that's because Chicago keeps faking murders for accidents, but I digress. Allentown, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's third most populous city saw its first homicide of 2018 around 12:40 a.m. Officers responding to a call found 2 men suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were taken to an area hospital. Police said one died during treatment and the other is in critical condition. Authorities have not yet released the names of either men, but investigators say they are looking for the shooter. Groveport, Ohio. That one I just reported you on. Ashley Marie Newman, 12:14. Her husband was accused of shooting her. Authorities have not yet identified a motive. Memphis, Tennessee. Someone was shot and killed on Reagan Drive, citing the Shelby County Police Office. The victim's gender and identity have yet to be released. Columbus, Georgia. That just came out all wrong. The city of Columbus saw its first homicide around 12:30 a.m. Police officers were dispatched to Colorado Street, where they found a mother and daughter suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were transported to a local hospital. The mother, identified as Nancy Johnson, was pronounced dead shortly after arrival, and her daughter, Gloria Johnson, was treated and released. The suspect shooter is described as being approximately 55 to 65 years old, 5'6" at 160 to 180 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black shirt, black leather jacket, and khaki-colored pants. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Columbus Police Department. Walker County, Georgia. Cops in Walker County, which is roughly 3 hours from Columbus, say someone was fatally shot and an officer involved shooting around 3 a.m. Houston, Texas. The family dispute between an unidentified man and his brother resulted in a fatal shooting around 4 a.m. The victim was found dead by officers who arrived to investigate a complaint. His brother was at the residence when they arrived, and it's unclear if they plan to file charges against him. Fayetteville, Arkansas. The Athens of the Ozarks saw its first homicide victim of 2018 around 12:45 a.m. A report of an altercation led police to West Dickerson Street, according to the KFSM News. A gunshot victim found at the scene was transported to area hospital where he later died. Authorities say a suspect has been arrested. Minneapolis, cops responding to a 911 call around 2 a.m. Monday found gravely injured man lying on the sidewalk. The victim, who has not been identified, was transported to an area hospital where he died a short time later. Authorities have not released his cause of death, but they did say the victim had obvious physical trauma. Anyone with any information is asked to call Minneapolis police. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge, a 29-year-old Trinity Grimes was shot and killed around 1:45 a.m. Investigators have not identified any suspects or persons of interest. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Violent Crimes Unit. Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City police say they're investigating the city's first homicide of 2018. The victim, described as a Hispanic man in his 20s, was found shot at 1:22 a.m. Monday. Anyone with information is asked to call the TIPS hotline. North Topsail Beach, North Carolina. Oops. Sorry, give me a second, guys. No cigarettes. That's no good. North Topsail Beach, North Carolina. A double homicide occurred at a 3rd Avenue home around 1:15 a.m. Monday, authorities said. Police officers were dispatched to the residence in response to a 911 call. According to WITN News, there they encountered a 28-year-old Mackenzie Britton, who allegedly told him that he had shot 2 people. The victims, a man and a woman, were both dead from gunshot wounds. Their names have not been released, and Britton, who reportedly lived with the victims, was arrested at the scene. Santa Barbara, California. Santa Barbara police responded to a report of possible gunshots around 3:30 a.m. Upon arrival, officers found a young male suffering from a gunshot wound. He was transported to an area hospital for treatment. And not far from the scene, the body of a 20-something-year-old male was found. Victim reportedly died from a gunshot wound. It's unclear if the 2 shootings are connected. The victims have not been named and no arrests have been made. San Diego, California. Cops in San Diego are investigating Monday morning killing of an unidentified man inside a Market Street Village apartment. The victim's roommate is reportedly being questioned about the slaying. No additional information has been released. Long Beach were dispatched. Yeah, I reported on this one. This is the male suspect one that died after Nancy Pratt. Yeah, this is the same one. Tucson, Arizona. Tucson, Arizona. News Now reports police are investigating a homicide. Authorities have reportedly blocked traffic leading into the area as they investigate. The gender and age of the victim has not been released. Redford Town, Michigan. A 27-year-old man was reportedly shot in Redford Township recording studio around 12:30 a.m. Monday. Victim taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The authorities say they believe the victim was known to the gunman, but no suspects have been identified. Anyone with information is asked to contact Redford Township Police Department. Wyoming, Michigan. Detectives are reportedly investigating the early morning slaying of a 25-year-old woman. Wyoming police found the woman's body around 4:45 a.m. while responding to a report of shots fired. The victim, who has not been identified, was shot at least one time. The woman's 37-year-old roommate has been identified as a suspect. He was taken into custody roughly a mile from the crime scene, according to police. Jacksonville, Florida. Deputies with the Jacksonville Sheriffs were dispatched to a residence shortly after 1 a.m. Monday. Upon arrival, they discovered the body of a 30-year-old man lying in the driveway. There was a small gathering for New Year's, and approximately 15 people were at the house. Sergeant Mark Musser told Action News Jax some type of argument took place at the house, which appears to have led to the death of the individual. Authorities said they're still trying to identify the person responsible for the shooting. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Norfolk, Virginia. A man is dead following a shooting that took place around 12:40 a.m. Authorities have not released his identity or any suspect information. Anyone with information is asked to call Norfolk Crime Line. Excuse me. Anchorage, Alaska. Police reportedly discover a man with multiple gunshot wounds near 4th Avenue and D Street. The man was pronounced dead after being transported to an area hospital. Authorities have yet to identify the victim. It's unclear if they have any suspects or persons of interest. To be continued. A sum total of New Year's Day's homicide has yet to be calculated, and the count will likely continue to rise. Yeah, by tonight, by the end of, it's after midnight, I'm sure I can give you a more accurate description tomorrow. Someone will have a more correct description of it tomorrow, but.
What is Shutterfest?
Oops, no, come on, shut up. There, how's that? Sometimes you just gotta shut it off. Okay, so this is Oakland, East Oakland, guys. A woman died from injuries suffered from a hit-and-run collision Monday morning in East Oakland. Her relatives... Authorities were trying to identify the woman and contact her relatives. She was hit by a vehicle around 5:02 a.m. at the intersection of 98th Avenue and Sunnyside Street. Police say she was in the crosswalk when she was hit by the vehicle, which was going southbound on 98th Avenue and kept going without stopping. The woman died later at the hospital. A detailed description of the vehicle or driver has not been released. Police and Crime Stoppers are offering up to $10,000 in reward money for any information leading to the arrest of the driver. Oh, wow. That's decent. Check back for updates, it says. If you're out there in East Oakland and you know anything about somebody who killed this lady, hit this lady, and drove off, call. You get yourself 10 stacks. Oops. I think I exited off one by accident. Oh, well, sorry. They all say 2018's first murder victim, by the way, and none of them, I had them in order the best way I could, chronologically, but still, they're all victims. They're all victims. Anybody who died that day is really our 2018's first victim. So, all right. Leon Garcia became 2018's first murder victim around 3:30 a.m. today, according to police. Raheem Reed and others were walking on Barrack Road from the direction of Newtown Barracks Barrack Road from the direction of Newtown Barracks when they were attacked from behind by two men. One of the men started to make stabbing motions towards Garcia, who collapsed to the ground. The other people he was with ran towards the police checkpoint while Reed returned and tried to help him. During the process, Reed was also stabbed to the left side of his upper rib cage. Garcia received multiple stab wounds to the chest and abdomen and was taken to the Karl Hausner Memorial Hospital, where he later died. Police are looking for two suspects. Baltimore. Come on. I could have read it that fast, for Christ's sake.
Homicide detectives are investigating Baltimore's first murders of the new year. The latest, a double shooting, happened just before 6 tonight. Police say two men were found with gunshot wounds inside a car in the 5100 block of Goodnow Road. A 30-year-old died. The second man is recovering in the hospital. And just before 4 this afternoon, police say a man was shot in the neck in the 2000 block of Eagle Street and later died in the hospital. Today's homicides come on the heels of a record-breaking 2017 in Baltimore, which saw more killings per capita in the city than ever before.
All right. Last but certainly not least, Lorain police investigating first murder of 2018. Lorain, Ohio. Police are looking for an accused killer they say is armed and dangerous. According to Lorain police, Marlon Johnson, 42, shot and killed a man around 5:30 on New Year's Day. That's him. Armed and dangerous, guys. Armed and dangerous. The victim's name is not being released, but if you have any information regarding Johnson's whereabouts, please contact Lorain Police. No $10,000 reward there. All right. Well, Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope that our 2018 is... I hope this isn't a reflection of what 2018 will be. I'm sure that we can do better if we try.